welcome to Up South, the one show that brings you all the big stories from the south of India. I'm Rohini Swami, and let's go to the big story that we're breaking on this bulletin right now. 4 Indians were abducted by the ISIS suspectedly, and 2 of them have been released. And this is the information that we are getting from the MEA. The MEA spokesperson Vikas Swarup has confirmed that 2 of the 4 Indians, both from Karnataka, have been released. The 2 others are from Telangana and they are still in captive, is what we're given to understand. We're joined live by Smita Sharma. Smita, you have got this confirmation from the MEA spokesperson Vikas Swarup. So, Smita, if you can tell us some more details as to what were the conditions for the release, they've been brought safely, and what about the other 2 from Telangana?
Well, as far as the conditions of the release are concerned, Rohini, the government will be very, very tight-lipped about it at the moment, because remember, this could jeopardize, of course, the release of the other 2 Indians who still remain in captivity of sorts, or detention is the word that technically MEA has been using instead of abduction. These are the 2 men who belong to, of course, Srikakulam and Hyderabad as well. But the other 2 men, Vijay Kumar and Lakshmi Kant, these are the 2 men who belong to Raichur and Bengaluru. These are the 2 men who have been released, and they are now back in the University of Sirte. Arrangements are being made for them to travel to Tripoli, where, remember, the Indian mission has been operating with less than a dozen staff members. But clearly what we do know is the University of Sirte, which had closed down in February this year after the town had fallen to ISIS forces, and which is where these men were working, 3 as professors in the University of Sirte and 1 was as a staff member at the Jufra campus of the university. So, some of the officials of this university had been approached to try and establish that communication link and the dialogue with men who had, of course, detained these Indians. But for now, Sushma Swaraj has also tweeted a sense of relief, saying that while she is happy that they have been able to secure the release of these 2 men, that they are still trying to release the other 2. Rohini?
True, the families of those 2 from Karnataka, they must be relieved, but the 2 other families in Telangana are still on tenterhooks. But it's an unfortunate incident. They were actually trying to come back home to India when this happened. So as of now, like you said, that Sushma Swaraj also has tweeted, but have you been able to get any more details about when they will be brought back to India?
Well, no details, because obviously the priority here is to ensure that all of them get released and all of them are at least brought back to the safety of Tripoli, where the conditions are relatively stable. Remember, Libya has been really war-torn since the fall of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, and then not just a civil war-like situation, but also we have seen the rise of ISIS right from Syria to, of course, Libya. And these are the northern swaths that we talk about, which have been under ISIS forces, which is the reason why the needle of suspicion had been pointing this morning to ISIS itself, because these men who had stayed back even after Sirte fell to ISIS, they were hoping that the university would reopen. Remember, in the last 1 year, even as 3,500 Indians have been evacuated or they have flown back voluntarily from Libya following all those advisories issued by MEA, but 2,000 Indians still continue to stay there. And Rohini, we have seen this situation from Iraq to Yemen to, of course, to now Libya, where Indians have somehow made those difficult decisions, or where they've chosen to stay by, and they've fallen into these kind of traps or hostage-like situations. Last time also 65 nurses were actually trapped in Libya, and there were many hours of suspense before they could be brought home to safety.
True. That's true, and all of them going there basically to earn a living, and they try to do that, and when such situations come, they find it extremely difficult to come back, and such kind of situations, if they're abducted, makes it even worse for the family who they're earning their living. Thank you so much, Smita Sharma, for getting us those details. But for our viewers, for exactly what happened in terms of the 4 Indians, who now there are 2 of them who are captive, allegedly, of the ISIS. The 4 of them were actually traveling towards India. There were 3 of them who were abducted, who are teaching at the Sirte University, while the 4th worked at Jufra University. All were trying to come over, and they were on their way via Tripoli and Tunisia, where they were picked up at a checkpoint. And though the role of the ISIS has not been confirmed yet, sources still say that they have been, the 2 of them who have been released as of now have been brought to Sirte University, but the 2 others, their details of where they have been kept are still unknown. But we know that in terms of the efforts that are being made by the MEA, in terms of bringing them back safely, families also waiting for that. We've been talking to the families of of some of them, and we've got this reaction. India Today spoke to the family of Gopi Krishna, and this is what they had to say.
Wednesday evening 6 o'clock only he spoke with me. He told like that today 31st Friday my flight is in Tunisia, via Tunisia. I reached 1st August reached to Hyderabad, like only he told me. That is the last talking with me. My demand is, my request is, please safely my husband and the 3 people. I want, please take your action immediately. That is my request all.
वो ऐसे पेपर में गया था, निकला था, उन्हें अप्लाई किया था, उसमें सेलेक्ट हुआ है. हर साल तो जा रहे आ रहे सभी कर रहे हैं.
तो आपकी क्या गुजारिश है?
मेरे क्या गवर्नमेंट को मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ, मेरा भाई को और 3 आदमी लोग हैं, सबको वो सेफली इंडिया में लेके आके मेरे हम लोग को तो देना बोल के मैं सबको गवर्नमेंट को, होम मिनिस्टर को और प्रधानमंत्री को सबको मैं धन्यवाद लाने के लिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
Fervent plea coming from the family of Gopi Krishna here. We're also joined by editor South T.S. Sudhir. Sudhir, we've heard what the family had to say, but you have also been talking and been in touch with them, and there are certain details in terms of what they have in terms of communication, because some of them are really scared to come out with details because the MEA is also in touch. They're only hoping that their family member comes safely home. So what were they telling you?
See, this family was staying in Libya since 2007. In fact, the family, the wife Kalyani and her 2 children actually came back to India for the sake of the 2 children. And the Professor Gopi Krishna continued to teach there. So he has been living there for the last 8 years. In fact, the family members told us that they did not expect anything to be so unsafe in Libya. And he was continuing with his teaching work just like the other professors also at different universities in Libya. So obviously this kind of an incident has taken them completely by surprise. They are quite shocked. And of course, they are waiting for more information from the Ministry of External Affairs. Simultaneously, also pressure is being mounted by the government of Telangana on the MEA to ensure that at least information is provided to the family members regularly so that they are not too anxious. But yes, the first priority will be to kind of reach out and establish some contact with the militia there in Libya, because remember, this is not going to be very easy for the MEA and its interlocutors also in Libya. But yes, at this point in time, the 2 families, one of whom we have got in touch with in Hyderabad, and of course the 2 families in Karnataka, also extremely anxious about the well-being of their relatives there in Libya.
Yes, that's what we're also hoping, the safe return of all of them, and not just the families but the entire country, also hoping that everybody is safe and they also come back safe home. Thank you so much for joining us, T.S. Sudhir, on this particular story. Well, the ancestral home of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has become a place where people have want to go and see and take pictures, rather take selfies of the house of Kalam, the house that gave birth to the people's president. And now people are also thronging to that place to also talk to the family members and get more details about them. Shisha Reddy brings us this report.
House of Kalam, the ancestral home of the late former president, has turned into a major tourist attraction of Rameswaram. At least 1 lakh people would have visited the house, making way for selfies. While Dr. Kalam's house was turned into a fine museum in 2011, it was these last 3 days that has witnessed such a huge crowd making a beeline.
यहाँ रामेश्वरम दर्शन के लिए आए थे. अचानक हमें न्यूज़ मिला कलाम साहब के बारे में, तो हम लोगों ने सोचा कि भाई हम भी एक दिन का यहाँ ब्रेक लेके और कलाम साहब के उनको दाह संस्कार में शामिल हो, उनको श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करें.
Even a small politician can have a big house. He is a president of India, first citizen. He lives in a very small house. Even this house is, I hear that it is built before 3 months. Before that it is a very simple one. So after all hearing this, we are get motivated.
Several photographs and awards of the former President Kalam are kept on display in this gallery. His doctorates from various universities in India and abroad have been put on display.
Even if a single child, by seeing this Mission of Life gallery, he will get inspired and ensures and feels that he can become a leader one day, then his purpose of born on this earth gets fulfilled. That was his mission.
With the demise of the missile man, the family members are planning on extending the gallery now.
Endless visitors have been thronging in the house of Kalam for the last 2 days, more so today to get a glimpse into the extraordinary life of the simple man right from his school to his research days. This gallery is sure to inspire and motivate the way like the people's president did. With camera person Daniel Srisha Reddy in Rameshwaram for India Today.
Madurai's famous folk singer and character artist Paravai Muniamma, she knew that life on the silver screen was all nice and glamorous, but off-screen life is bitter. With herself bedridden and with a mentally unsound son, today she faces a hard life. And the people in the film fraternity did not realize the state she was in until the social media took it up. And finally, when they did, with all the tweets and all the messages, finally the film fraternity has come to help her. Pratibha Raman brings us this report.
When she was 60, Parvani Muniamma, known for her folk songs, emerged on the silver screen and impressed with her character roles. But she's ailing now and admitted to a Madurai hospital. And with a mentally challenged son to take care of, life is not easy. Seeing the ailing actor, Lata Srinivasan, a Chennai-based journalist, took up her cause on social media and raised 1 lakh rupees.
55,000 followers on Twitter who follow me purely because of the film news that I put out. I said, if each person were to donate even 100 rupees, the cost of a ticket, 120 rupees, would they be willing to donate that? You know, I would make so much and we could give it to her collectively.
Despite the presence of an actors association, actors have come out individually to offer help.
I've told my people to make sure that she is taken care of from now onwards. So that has been underway, and this whole thing is not because she has a vote in the Nadiya Sangam or towards it's an act towards the Nadiya Sangam election. She doesn't have a vote. It's just out of humanitarian grounds.
Paravai Muniamma made her debut in Tamil films, singing in praise of her grandson, calling him a lion. She now spends every day in the hospital, a far cry from her brave avatar in real life.
Welcome back. Well, now we bring you stories from Hyderabad. Community service is the new mantra, and courts in Hyderabad have decided that all those who have been caught drunken and driving, well, they will have to face punishment in terms of standing in traffic lights with the board that they say that they will not drink and drive. And the courts are hoping that they'll be so embarrassed that they will not repeat the act again. T.S. Sudhir brings us this report from Hyderabad.
Men like these, using a handkerchief to cover their face and holding placards preaching safe driving, are now a common sight at traffic junctions in Hyderabad. They are motorists arrested by the police for drunken driving and made to perform social service for 3 hours a day for 3 days.
All the respondents have to perform traffic duty along with our traffic personnel in various junctions in Hyderabad city.
Motorists are amused and approved of the court's decision to make the offenders do this task instead of sending them to jail. They felt this public shaming will dissuade them from drinking and driving.
अच्छा ही भाई, punishment मिलना पड़ता, drink and drive नहीं करना है, जाओ घर में जाओ पी लो.
But the 35 offenders, annoyed that someone known to them could spot them at traffic junctions, were least amused.
సమాజ సేవ చేయమన్నారు. సమాజ సేవ అంటే ఇలా అండి, పబ్లిక్ అందరికి సమాజ సేవ అంటే ఇక్కడ చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది. అంతేగాని ప్రెస్ని తీసుకొచ్చి ఇలా పెట్టేసి సమాజ సేవ చేయాలంటే ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళండి అది.
Apart from traffic junctions, the offenders will also be taken to hospitals and will have to perform tasks assigned by the hospital authorities. In Hyderabad, with cameraman Damodar, T.S. Sudhir for India Today.
Well, that's all we have on Upstart today. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates will continue on India Today.